didn't a duck grab me by the leg? I suppose your man was saying, this fella, after coming up here to feed us, and he's eating it himself. So remember, if you think of putting your little bit of bread into your own mouth while you're up there, make sure there isn't a duck at your feet. The Green is a great place for people. But sure, of course, people were always associated with the Green. It's from Stephen's Green that the Dublin St. Patrick's Day Parade leaves off. And it was here that the Lord Mayor and the 25 corporations and trade guilds used to set off for riding the fringes and fixing the boundaries in Dublin many, many years ago. I suppose the 25 corporations and trades are well represented here today. So you'd have all the guilds represented. If you were to ask the people what walk of life they fitted into today, sure, any one of them could hoist the old trade banner that used to be hoisted here in Stephen's Green. And I suppose the coopers and the brewers are well represented. They'd be represented by all the fellas waiting here for the pubs to open or for the holy hour to pass by. And of course, Lord Ardalan himself, the chief brewer, looking down on us all. Well, Paddy, what do you think of Stephen's Green?
Oh, I think it's the most wonderful park in the city of Dublin. All the characters that was ever born passed this way. Well, if they didn't, they don't know what they're missing.
Well, you were born in Baggot Street. Did you come here as a child?
I did, of course. It was the only natural place we had to come to. Bar Merrion Square, but the Merrion Square was locked up at that time. But this was an open for every individual around the area. This was the park.
Well, Paddy, I suppose you remember all the old characters that came through Stephen's Green. Andy Mean, the Bird Flanagan, Harry, Yank, Harry, Lemon, Shell Shock Joan, the whole lot of them.
Well, I wish they were alive. At the present time, we could have a little bit of fun and a little bit of laugh with them.
Sure, that's true.
Because that's what it was all about. That's what life is all about. And that's the way they made it. They made life what it's all about.
So you could tell the history of Ireland by walking around the Green. Aye, and a bit of the history of England and a little bit of the history of Germany. So go around there and look at all the landmarks and memorials. The Boer War, the Great War, the Second World War, and the German memorial that the German people gave to the people of Dublin for Save the German Children campaign. So you have the whole lot.
Well, if you're kind of the shooting gallery, you're right. But it is it.
It
And
is.
there's no doubt in the world about it. If anybody wants to enjoy themselves, get into good company. Intelligent company. This is the place to come.
Yeah,
Stephen's Green.
He shall not hear the bittern cry in the wild skies where he is lain, nor voices of the sweeter birds above the wailing of the rain, nor shall he know when loud March blows, those slanting snows her fanfare shrill, blown to flame the golden cup of many an upset daffodil. But when the dark cow leaves the moor and pastures poor with greedy weeds, perhaps he'll hear our low at morn, lifting our horns in pleasant meads. The lines of Francis Ledwidge's poem written in the trenches about Thomas MacDonagh. The Countess Markievicz, second in command of the Irish Citizen Army, led our men here into the Green, but the British Army brought their machine guns up onto the roof of the Shelbourne Hotel and forced them back into the College of Surgeons. The College of Surgeons was erected on a site of ground donated by the Quakers. They say if you're here at midnight, you can see the ghosts of the Sack-em-up boys coming up York Street to sell the bodies to the doctors in the College of Surgeons. Bold Robert Emmet, the darling of Arden, hanged and beheaded in Thomas Street, Dublin. He was born across the road in 124 St. Stephen's Green. You know, you'd nearly write a book on every house in Stephen's Green, from the DBC where Pearse and McDonagh had their scones, up to the Stephen's Green Club, and on to where Frances Ball had our Loretta Convent and Mary Aikenhead had our Vincent's Hospital. Number 22 was the headquarters of the Friendly Brothers of St. Patrick, an anti-duelling society. Many's the ladies' hat box I delivered to the Dublin University Club from the fashionable store in Grafton Street. The club was originally Milltown House. It was owned by the Leeson family, who gave their name to Milltown and Leeson Street. I like to walk along the Bow Walk of Stephen's Green, because at one time it was only the gentry that were allowed to walk here. It was here where they had, as Dean Swift said, the finest gravel in Europe. When we were kids, we used to play beds here. You know, you wouldn't need any chalk. Of course, beds was the girls' game. But the boys used to play them as well. Not with the girls, of course, but by themselves. The old fountain in Stephen's Green, given to the corporation by Lady Laura Grattan. Many's the buckets of water we drank here. There used to be a lovely spout coming out of there, and all lovely cups chained on here. Of course, the horses and the ginnets and the mules and the asses all come into this lot. But dogs never drank out of that. The old dogs used to jump up here and drink out of this. But it's not a lovely piece of work there. And you know, for all the thirst that was quenched here at this fountain, whoever gave a thought to the good woman, Lady Laura Grattan? Not a one, I suppose, but we'll think of her this morning. But you know what it is? Walking along here in the Bow Walk, it does something. I don't know what it is, but the sun and the trees, and it has a certain beauty about it that you'll find hard to beat anywhere else in the world. My mother used to play here. In fact, this was our front garden and our back garden from our tenement rooms in Pitt Street. There was no fancy trains or merry-go-rounds in those days, as these two nice old ladies could tell you. You know what I'm going to tell you? Everyone that came to Dublin out north went back home and wrote an old book on it. Now we have books by Germans and Chinamen and Frenchmen and Englishmen. Well, this gentleman, W.M. Thackeray, Irish sketchbook, and he sent a copy to Charles Lever of Temple Oak House near Dublin. Now, he came to Dublin on a visit, Thackeray.